Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin. Skinamarink is a new horror film that is directed by Kyle Edward. Two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. Going in, I really didn't know anything about this film, and that besides that, it reminds me of the Blair Witch and sort of Paranormal Activity. And I only saw the trailer once. And so going in, I was like, I was really just going in blind, had nothing to do about it. And the first, literally the first scene, when you just realize that this is just a movie where you're just basically trying to listen and you're just looking in darkness. And the, camera angles change and all that. And so sometimes you're looking at a TV, or you're looking at Legos, or you're looking at some counter that has blood on it. That is a risky idea to do, but oddly enough, it was very entertaining and very suspenseful, and it adds some terror to the film. And you're not going to really get a narration from this movie, and so on that aspect, I can't really explain what happens in the movie because there's no really true narration besides that the idea of what you think of the movie is. It's basically off of your own predicament of how you think that what this movie was telling, and what the story, and what sort of the story was in itself. Because the story has it has probably a lot of meaning to it, and from all that, because this is a very experimental film. This is a very low budget movie, probably made for $15,000, minimum, and it's we have not gotten a film like this in forever, and it was really interesting to see a film like this to come back, and I just oddly really enjoyed it. Even though I was just looking at, sometimes it was just a black screen, and for most of the movie I was oddly interested in it's basically like listening to an audiobook in some form. And that's probably not what you go for the movies for, but you're also it's also off your own mind. You're looking at it, it's do I see something in the back there? Is that a person? And it's your mind is messing with you while you're watching this movie. So it's basically a movie of an self-reflection on yourself of what you see. And it's very interesting in that way. Now, for granted, the movie's kind of long. They could have, maybe cut certain things out, and it also kind of has a retread of, using the same camera shot or camera angle on a certain thing. But overall, I did enjoy just sitting back and relaxing, and just seeing what happens. And every once in a while, you see maybe a person, you see a back of a kid. Or you see a parent in a shot a couple times, but that's pretty much that is all about this movie that I can really say. And I don't know if it's still out. This review is late. It came out last week, and it's probably in theaters for a limited amount of times. And maybe if it's making a lot of money, and it's probably going to still be out in theaters. So if it is, go check it out, because it's a very unique film that Hollywood doesn't really take risks on, and some studio out there did take a risk on this movie. Now, for granted, the ratings of it's not very good, mostly because it's a hit or miss in scenario when it comes to critics and audiences. And so critics did enjoy it in some bit, but I guarantee the critics well, there's no story, so no purpose, but the idea of it is good. So they're kind of there's a mixed situation when it comes to that. And the audience are just if you're in a person that goes to the movies every once in a while, or what I keep trying to think of the saying of it, but for some reason it's not coming to my head. I guarantee after this review it's going to be oh, it was that. For them, they're probably not going to find it that entertaining, or they're not going to find have any attachment to it in that way. But coming from a person that is interested in seeing new things, seeing unique ideas, and seeing what they can spin off of it, and what they can do, and just watching films on a weekly basis, basically, it was really unique in its own way, and I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give Skinamarink an A-. I really enjoyed it. It is way too long in some aspects, and there is a couple of repetitive shots, of course, but for what it is, honestly, for an experimental film, it's pretty good, and it's awesome that a studio took a risk on it, and they're easily gonna make their money back, most likely, since it's only $15,000 budget, so it's not that hard for this movie to make its money back. And so if it doubles it in some form, studios might take more risks of making lower budget films like this and putting out theaters, so then they would, you know, make money, of course, but also putting out like unique ideas, taking risks on indie films, taking risks on like upcoming new directors, actors, and all that. And so this film, I think, really deserves the support. If you're going for like a story purpose film, this isn't really your film for you. Yeah, it was very interesting to see and how it was and like how the take was. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.